I go back to Ireland, and there's a family in Yorkshire where I was born, and then go to France, or start in France and work back to Ireland. And one of the great things to do, well, there are many great things to do in Ireland, but one of the things that you have to do is go to see the Book of Kells, this titanic work of Western civilization. It's really the apogee of Western decorative art, right up there with the illuminated Islamic manuscripts. And the Book of Kells is one of the old New Testaments that the monks would work on in their reclusion in these very remote, cold, austere monasteries during the Dark Ages, where they kept European civilization alive. And the most renowned of all these books is the Book of Kells. And it's quite small. When you get there, you line up. It's a tremendous, tremendous event to go through Trinity College and go through to the whole experience. And when you get there, it's a little bit like seeing the Mona Lisa. When you finally get to the Louvre and you see the Mona Lisa, and you line up and you wait, and it's like, is this it? Is this it? Well, the Book of Kells is there, but it takes a while for the resonance to kind of percolate through, and it's still percolating. This is called At the Book of Kells. Where the Word is made visible on flesh of the Lamb, the Word made visible for peasants, the rarely washed, its awesome beauty is born. On holy days, paraded for benefit of an unlettered world, unable to read back then, but that saw this stupendous visitation. For the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word. This, the farmer and his unlettered children, his wife, saw that the Word was God. This they saw in its unutterable beauty. Ground lapis, turquoise, coral, gold, admixed, the colors bold as the Parthenon, the mother temples of India's deep south. Sanctus, 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 fall on your knees, the Word, parchment leaping to immortality in this holy isle of Ireland. You see the book and you realize what it meant to live in an age of darkness where very few could read, and everybody came to these holy places at these great occasions for trading, for religious purposes, for introducing sons and daughters to potential marriage partners. All of the old traditions around these places, the kind of Stonehenge places, New Grange places, where people came to meet for these purposes. And when people can't read, what can they do to somehow interpret the power? What they do is they see. So they saw this magnificent artwork. And for them, it was the experience in their time of actually seeing the Word of God. So the impact of that, the way it's influenced an entire nation, its consciousness, that was what it meant for me as a writer, as a person who's interested in literature, to see one of these testaments and the impact that literature had on this people, the peasant people, and of course, which has really given the 20th century probably its unrivaled masters in the English language. How curious that so many of the Titanic writers have come from Ireland, where English is the second language. So a couple of short poems here, two from Ireland, about visiting the graves of poets. There are so many there, and then one in Britain. This is called Reading Derek Mann's Commemorative on McNeice. It's up near, happens up near Belfast. In the rain, on the way to Carrador, McNeice's grave, we join a caravan from the petrol station off down the road. You wouldn't have done this in the old days. The troubles, Jack says. Fear of ambush. On the way to a poet's grave. Patrick Kavanagh, at rest, Inishkeen. Over in North America, all the professors always talk about William Butler Yeats, great poet and great round figure, a very privileged person in his day. But when you go to Ireland, the poet that they all know and love is Paddy Kavanagh. That's the one that the people talk about recite in the pubs, who the kids know, who the mums all love, who the priests talk about in sermons. Paddy Kavanagh at rest in Inishkeen. It's about 7 or 8 miles up the road from where we live. Sun still at eventide, a yard of stones, a walled field, grass wavering across the drumlins, bird cries. Small village house up the road, Kavanagh at rest, remembered again, an ink pot on his stone, the epigraph, these lines. They said that I was bounded by the white thorn hedges of that little farm and did not know the world, but I knew that love's doorway to life is the same doorway everywhere. Where Ted Hughes lived. Ted Hughes in the news again today, the eternal story of him and the American poet Sylvia Plath. He's in trouble again. Where Ted Hughes lived. He was a Yorkshireman. Jubilee Street and Aspinall, a small green square 2 lanes down from a limestone warehouse, the ubiquitous cloth mill. Cotton weaving town, slate grey sky, chimney pots, a neighbourly place where you never locked your door. Nobody ever stole. Everybody knew everyone's doing, everyone else is knowing in this Mithenroyd. A yellow bin, a red car, the village clogmaker down the lane. One hawk over rare scrub, patchworks of cleared fields across the way.